Somebody confirm if you are able to see. Okay.
Yeah, Prabhuji, visible.
Thank you. So Hare Krishna Balram Prabhu, Hare Krishna Uday Prabhu, Dhamati Mataji, Himanshu Prabhu, Sanjay Prabhu, Pallavi Mataji, Shamala Mataji, Shushmita Mataji,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
and Uday Mataji. Hare Krishna everyone. So welcome to this course of Gita Gyan, Essence of Bhagavad Gita by ISKCON Seshadripuram, Bangalore. So today we are about to start a new section of Bhagavad Gita, that is chapter 13. Let's see. But before we begin, so let us start with a small sloka which tells the importance of reading and recitation of Bhagavad Gita. Yes, Dhamati Mataji, you have raised your hand. Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna ji. Devaki Nandana Krishna Gita Patena Tusyati Yata Na Vedir Danena Yagna Tirtha Vrata Dibih. The son of Devaki, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, cannot be satisfied by anyone's study of the Vedas, charity, sacrifice, pilgrimage, or vows as much as he is satisfied by the devotional recitation of the Gita.
Yes, thank you, Dhamati Mataji. So when you are reciting this sloka, Dhamati Mataji, Krishna is very pleased by your efforts. So that's why it says, the son of Devaki, Krishna, cannot be satisfied by anyone's when they study the Vedas and when they do the charity, sacrifice, and when they often go to pilgrimage. So there are other benefits when you do this any kind of activities, you'll be getting some pious karmas. And when you take some austerity or vows also, okay, during this month I won't be eating sweets or any kind of for the pleasure of the Lord or anything. Yes, these all activities are good, which will make you help progress in devotional service. But when, if you read one shloka or one word or even one sentence line also, it's a saying, Krishna is very much satisfied by the devotional recitation of the Gita. So with this, we'll start with the prayers and request all the devotees, they can unmute themselves and they can read it after one line after me. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnana Jana Shalakaya
Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnanagana Salakaya
Chakshurum Militam Yena Tashmai Shri Gurave Namah.
चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः.
Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale
नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले
Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamine
श्रीमते
Srimati Bhakti
भक्तिवेदान्त
Vedanta
स्वामिनिति
Swami
नामिने.
Namine.
Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine
नमस्ते
Namaste
सरस्वती देवे
Saraswati
गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे
Gaurani
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashata Deshatarine
निर्विशेष शून्यवादी
शून्यवादी
पाश्चात्य
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा
Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादे पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते जयपदाय स्वामी नामिने नमाचार्य पदाय निताय कृपपदाय गौरगता दामोदय नगरकरामतारिणे मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघते गिरिं यत्कृपातः महां वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दिनतारिणं परमानन्दं माधवं श्री चैतन्याय श्री हरे कृष्णा. Neelam Mataji,
Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji. Yashika Mataji, there was Neelam Mataji was there on the video. Hare Krishna, Neelam Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. How are you there?
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम। बस प्रभु जी बढ़िया। मैं यशिका एक्चुअली चेरी को ट्यूशन पढ़ाती है ना।
Oh, अच्छा ऐसा क्या
हाँ
कनेक्टेड है आप
जी,
दोनों क्या?
तो हाँ मैंने लिंक भेजा था, इसे रजिस्टर किया था। तो आज वो एक्चुअली ना भगवत गीता डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर रहे थे, तो आई थी मैं इनके घर पे। तो मैं कहा चल आज मैं प्रभु जी से बात कर लेती हूँ। तो मैंने वीडियो ऑन कर रखी थी। यशिका को टेंशन हो रही है, कहते वीडियो ऑन कर रखी है और बातें कर रहे हो। मैं
I thought like चेरी कैसे आ गया यहाँ पे?
चेरी ट्यूशन पढ़ती है प्रभु जी यशिका से।
अच्छा ठीक है माता।
हाँ जी, हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
Okay, so this program is dedicated to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who is the founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So let's see, we have seen Srila Prabhupada, just maybe I'll mute everyone. Okay, so Srila Prabhupada, as you know, he's the most compassionate soul. Whatever I have seen, so many people on this earth, but he's the most compassionate soul on this earth. And you know, the most complex philosophy, Srila Prabhupada present in such a way that you are able to digest in a very digested way. So we can see. I still remember I have read so many Bhagavad Gita copies before, but I never used to actually understand until unless I met with Srila Prabhupada Bhagavad Gita as it is, and then I was able to understand such a complex philosophy. He is able to make us understand in his purpose and all the other books also. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here reading Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So actually, you should know Srila Prabhupada used to write his book only for 2-3 hours. Srila Prabhupada, when he used to completely, he used to be in 24 hours, he used to be there in the service of Krishna, and hardly 2-3 hours of sleep he used to had. So 12 o'clock to again 2 o'clock he used to sleep, and again at 2 o'clock early in the morning he used to get up. So the means we can see in 24 hours of a day, 2 to 3 hours of sleep only he used to have. So we should be very grateful to Srila Prabhupada, and that's the reason at least we should read some books of Srila Prabhupada and try to pay respect to Srila Prabhupada, says that. And because why should we read in this transcendental book? Because that by reading this book we'll be able to get some knowledge, and through that knowledge or through that jnana you will be able to progress in devotional service. So that's Srila Prabhupada is there. And we were also inspired by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, who is the GBC and spiritual master, and we'll take his blessing and we'll further progress in our class. So who wants to read this Gita Mahatmya shloka for today? Okay, yeah, Yashika Mataji, you can go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Gitayas chana janati pathanam naiva pathanam sa eva manuse loke mogha karma karo bhavet. A person who knows nothing about learning and teaching the Gita is a failure in the duty of the human form of life. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So Narottam Das Thakur says, if you haven't done, if you got a human form of life, and if you haven't done devotional service, it's just like taking a poison and killing yourself, because we don't know how much life we have. And it's a saying, a person who knows nothing about learning and teaching the Gita is a failure in the human form of the Lord. So, but the contracts of this is there. Whoever is present on this Zoom call, you are all a success. So all of you are coming from the last 12 days and today is the 13th day, and you are all learning, and you are very, very fortunate souls who have who was trying to learn Bhagavad Gita, who's trying to teach Bhagavad Gita knowledge to others. So you are a very fortunate soul. So that's why your human form of life is guaranteed that success will be there. So when we have started this form, like on this path, there is a sure guarantee is there that you will be able to reach to Godhead at this end of this life. So with that, we are moving to the ahead with chapter 13. So chapter 13 is one of the very important section of Bhagavad Gita. So chapter name itself says nature, enjoyment, and consciousness. So this where we are living is actually is prakriti, the nature, where whatever we are seeing. And who is the enjoyer? Sometimes in our real life also we think actually we enjoy. We'll be saying who is actually the enjoyer. And the consciousness means chetna, what kind of mentality or what kind of inner consciousness which you are having. So here you should be knowing till 7 to 12 chapter, this section of Bhagavad Gita is known as Bhakti Yoga. So from today to chapter 13 to chapter 17, this actually section is known as Jnana Yoga, and chapter 18 is the summary again of whole Bhagavad Gita from chapter 3 to 17. Whatever we have discussed, Krishna will repeat those things, and there are many other shlokas are also there. So Lord is giving some more actually knowledge to progress in Bhakti Yoga. So why Bhakti Yoga is being kept in between? And so this how to do actually this Bhakti Yoga. So this chapter 13 to 17 will help you. This is known as a Gyan Yoga. So Gyan, or the knowledge, will help you, will aid you to progressing bhakti. So that's the reason Krishna is have kept this Gyan Yoga after finishing this Bhakti Yoga. Just take an example. If you don't have any knowledge, how you will cook? So suppose if a person doesn't have the knowledge or can't distinguish between salt and sugar. So suppose if I don't have the knowledge, if I go to cooking, instead of I suppose I want to prepare sweet, instead of putting sugar, I'll put salt. And instead in the vegetables, instead of putting salt, I'll put the vegetables. What will happen? It will make chaos. And the person who is it and who has prepared this food, they will scold me. So that's what knowledge is very important. Where to by getting knowledge, we should be able to practically put into our practical whatever daily to daily life also. So here also Gita actually talks about 5 knowledge. So one is Ishvara. This whole Gita, if you read, it talks about this 5 things, which is Ishvara, Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, Jiva, who we are there, including 84 lakh species. The Jiva is there, Prakriti. So in Prakriti only, or the nature we live, this is the third one. Kala, we saw how Krishna shows that I am the Kala, or that I am. And the fifth one is known as the Karma. So these 4 subjects, which is Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, and Kala, these are actually static. You can't change it, or it is not dynamic. But karma is there, which is it can be changed. So that's why even the demigods actually wants to take birth on earth, because they can do karma, because whatever activities they're doing in their swarga loka or anywhere, there the karmas are not getting nullified, or they are not able to create the karma. They are enjoying, or what happened, if you are in the swarga, you are enjoying it. If you are in the hell, you are reaping your reaction. So then Krishna in this chapter also talks about 2 more things, which is known as Atma and Paramatma. So we actually, the jivas, inside our body, there is one soul which is known as Atma. Inside that soul, actually Krishna reside, which is known as a Paramatma. So let's start with this section, and let's see what Krishna gives us this knowledge, and how he create this nature, and who are this enjoyer, what are this body made of. So Krishna will be giving you this entire knowledge in this 13th chapter. Okay, I'll request devotees if they can raise their hand, keep on raising their hand. I'll just pick up you who wants to read the shloka. Okay, Dhanpal Prabhu, please go ahead. And don't put down your hands. I'll just maybe once you have read, I'll lower down your hand, and next shloka you can read on. In that order, we will continue. Yeah. Okay, Dhanpal Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Arjuna vacha prakritim purusham saiva kshetram kshetre jnanam yevacha itad veditam ichami jnanam nyayam cha Keshava. Arjuna said, "Oh, my dear Krishna, I wish to know about Prakriti, nature, Purusha, the enjoyer, and the field, and the knower of the field, and of knowledge, and the object of knowledge." Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Dhanpal Prabhu, for reading it. So here, Arjuna is have started this shloka as usual. He is starting one question actually. So Arjuna said he is asking 6 question actually. Here 6 thing he wants to say. He said, Krishna, actually I want to know about these 6 things. One is known as what is Prakriti, or the nature. We talk about this material nature where we are living. So he's asking what is that? And the second is asking who is the Purusha, or the enjoyer actually. And then the third one is asking, oh, what is this field? And the fourth question is asking what is the knower of this field? And fifth is asking what is knowledge, and what is the object of this knowledge. So if you know this sixth question which Arjuna is asking, if you have somebody is able to understand this completely, this sixth question which Arjuna is asking, you are saying you have learned this Bhagavad Gita. You will feel like you are able to grasp Bhagavad Gita after knowing this 6 answers. So let us see what Krishna is answering to this question of Arjuna. We'll move on to the next shloka. So Ramesh Prabhu, if it is possible, you can read it, Prabhu, please.
Hari Om Prabhuji. Bhagavad Gita 13:2-3. Sri Bhagavan Vacha idam saritam
Sariram.
Idam sariram kauteya kshetram itya abhidhi etat yo veti tam prabhu kshetra jnanati iti tat kshetra jnana shapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata kshetra jnanor jnanam yattaj jnanam matam mama. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "This body, O son of Kunti, is called the field, and one who knows this body is called the knower of the field. O son of Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies, and to understand this body and its knower is called knowledge. That is my opinion."
Thank you, Prabhu, for reading, Ramesh Prabhu. So that's what even It's very wonderfully Ramesh Prabhu tried. So Krishna is very pleased whenever you feel like reading, even if you are not reading it correctly. Also, Krishna is pleased what kind of efforts you are putting. That is only devotional service. Krishna is looking for that one only. So thank you, Ramesh Prabhu, for reading wonderfully. So let's see to this. Coming to this, this is Krishna is giving you this answer. So first, again, let's and go say this sixth question. So Krishna is talking about this sixth thing. So see, Krishna is talking about what is this body. I want to know about this Prakriti or this Prakriti, nature, Purusha. So we should understand this our body is known as a field, Kshetra. So first knower is Atma and the second knower is Paramatma. And here it's Krishna is talking about this object of knowledge. So what is object of this knowledge or what is there? So knowledge is to understand that we are the soul and our body is different. So in Bhagavad Gita yesterday 12.7 shloka also Krishna says those who worship me giving up all their activities unto me and being devoted to me without deviation engage in devotional service. So he's saying those who are giving up, who was worshipping me, giving up all the activities into me. So it's not like he is giving up his all activities, but giving activities in keeping Krishna in center and then doing bhakti. And he's saying those people don't deviate from devotional service. They are known as bhakti yogis and their mind is always and always fixed on me. So Krishna there in 12.7 is saying I will make sure that this kind of person who is coming to me, I will deliver them from the ocean of birth and death. So let's see in detail the each answer. So Krishna here, Lord is saying, O son of Kunti is called as this body is known as field. So this sarir is nisam Sri Bhagwan Vacha idam sariram Kantiya Kshetram idi. He is talking about Kshetra. And then the second one is a Kshetra Jnana. So Kshetra Jnana Chapi Vidhi Sarva Kshetra Bharata. And then it's again since Kshetra Jnana Rayanam. So here we should understand the first answer which Krishna here is saying is this field which you are talking about or the Kshetra which you are talking about is nothing but this field is yourself, the body. So the first answer is given this Kshetra or this Sarir or the area which compromise is your field. And then Krishna further is telling one who knows this field or one who knows this body is known as the knower of the field or Kshetadra. One Krishna is saying Kshetra is the Sarir or the body. Kshetadra is known as the Atma or the super soul. So he's known as this Atma. One who knows this body is known as this soul. So Krishna is talking about. And the third knowledge which Krishna is telling here, you should understand actually, oh Arjuna, that I am, I who is the super soul, who is present inside of the soul, is knower in all the bodies actually. Krishna is saying, I am the super soul who is the knower in all the bodies. And to understand this body, its knower is known as knowledge. So a bit technical here. Just let me make you understand here. It's a bit technical, but I'll give you one more example in the next slide. Also, you'll be able to grasp. But it's very clear. It should be clear. Then only we should be moving forward. I think. So I'll make it one more simplified. So he's giving four answer here. So he's saying this body, actually, this body where I'm living is known as this field, and inside my body which is soul is present is known as the knower of the field or knower of the field or Kshetraka. And Paramatma, the Krishna who is residing in our soul as Paramatma or super soul is known as the knower of the field, which is Gyata. He's being able to say, just take an example. So actually this body, our body, which is compromises of this 24 elements. So we know actually whatever this inside our body, soul is there. So he knows what are this pain and the pleasures is going through within our body. So each soul who is residing in the body, he knows the pain and pleasure. But the inside our soul, the super soul which is living, he knows about every jivas. So suppose Dhamati Mataji is here. So I'll take her is inside her body. Also one soul is there. So that soul will be able to know the pain and pleasure of Dhamati Mataji, and my soul be able to know the whatever the my body is going pain and pleasure. But there is one super soul which is the same who is present in Dhamati Mataji also and in my body also. in my soul also. That is Paramatma, who is knowing the pain and pleasure of all the living entities. So, and then further says, this knower of the field is the knowledge, in my opinion, Krishna is saying. And so body is just like a land when we do a farming actually. So it is up to us which crop we want to grow, and whatever seed you plant actually, that kind of seed will reap. So if you plant bhakti, so bhakti will reap. So again, coming here, body is field, soul is the knower of the field, and super soul, the Paramatma, is knower of all the bodies. So Krishna is present in all the bodies. And what is knowledge? The fourth question which Krishna asks, what is knowledge? To understand that this body, inside this body actually there is two knower. What is that two knower? One is soul and one is super soul. That is the real knowledge. So Gyan means, as per Krishna, Gyan or the knowledge means there are two knowers in our body only. One is soul and one is super soul. So actually for a devotee in Shyam Sundar form, there is a, we discuss, so what happens, this Chaturbhuja form will be there in every soul of the body. So we can see in this soul also Chaturbhuja form of the Lord is there. But for a devotee, this Shyam Sundar form won't be there. Krishna personally in this Shyam Sundar form, two hands of form, he will be there. So Srila Prabhupada used to say, but if somebody is doing devotional service in a very good or the pure devotees like Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj and all those will be there, for them the Shyam Sundar form will be there. For us, like we are somehow able to do so. For us and other like who is not doing devotional service also, in there the super soul of this Chaturbhuja form will be there. So this Gyan, this knowledge is comprises of this body. This body is also there, and plus the two knowers, the soul and super soul. So this knowledge is particular about three things: the knower and the knowledge and the process of knowing. So Vijnana. So it is here, it is saying Vijnana. So this is the knowledge. So first and step is to understand this devotional service is this Vijnana. I know it's a bit technical how to understand. Maybe with this example you will be able to understand more. So this is example of tenants and the lords, landlords. So most of people, somebody, those people are very fortunate who's having house. But if you go to this multi tier cities like Bangalore, Delhi, or Chandigarh, any examples is there. So you will be saying like not those cities are any cities. If you go right now, there is a concept of flat is coming. So suppose my previous flat where I was living, so in that apartment there are 26 buildings were there. 26 and all was alphabetically numbered from A to Z, building A, and each building was having 16 floors. So where I was living, it was known as a D block. So I was living in this first floor. So in that first floor, I was having parallelly four other peoples were also living. There was a 3 BHK, four peoples were living. So I'm just giving you example. So suppose if you take this example also, one flat, two flat, three flat, four flat, in just for example. So suppose if I am living in this flat on rent, so I am known as a tenant. So somebody, the landlord, has given me this tenant. So me, in which room I am staying or which house I am living, so I am the tenant and I know only about the owner of that apartment, who is the owner of that. But suppose the whole society in which I was living, suppose I am just assuming, so or this whole whatever this in this picture you are seeing, the whole apartment, so there is only one landlord is there. So I might be knowing this only, there is only one person who have the owner of this one, but the landlord knows about all those apartments. So that's what he's having the knowledge of everyone. So here I know about my body. So here I know about my body, but Krishna knows about everyone body. So this flat is there. I'm living here, so I'm knowing about this house. Okay, this house is there. This is the owner is there, and but I don't know. I don't have the knowledge about this one also. So similarly for this one also, take us one more example. In olden days, people used to do farming, and usually this king or the landlords usually used to have so many lands, and what they used to do, they used to give their lands to the people, and the people or the farmer, they used to do farming on their land, and whatever revenue or whatever crops they used to get it, they used to half they used to keep, and half they used to give it to the landlord or the king. based on the agreement. So suppose if I am the farmer, so I know about my land, or suppose if I'm having this land here, I'm plowing or whatever crops is there, I'm knowing about this one. But the king or the landlords, who is the owner of all the other lands also, he knows wherever is there. So similarly, this farmer or the tenant is we, the soul, and the king or the landlord is known as Krishna, the super soul. He's the super knower. He's the super knower, and he knows all wherever this land is there. So that's the difference between us and the Krishna, the difference between the soul and the super soul. We might be knowing about in which body which we are living, but the super soul will be aware of all the bodies in which they are living. So there is a beautiful story of Kanaka Das, which you will be able to understand more about this soul and super soul. So this, if you can maybe I'll zoom out, then you will be able to see. So Kanaka Das actually was a shepherd, so who was not allowed. So in this during olden times, there was a custom of like caste and greeds and all. So if somebody is from a lower caste, they were not allowed to go inside a temple. And this Kanaka Das, who was a shepherd, so he was not allowed to visit inside this temple. So this is a wonderful temple of, if you go, this is Udupi temple, and you can see this as small hole is there. Must hole is this is known as a khirki. Khirki in Hindi we say window. So when Kanakadas was there, he was such a wonderful devotee of the Lord that since he was not allowed to go inside the temple actually, so what happened, Krishna was pleased by the worship of this Kanakadas, and he created a small hole in the back of wall of the temple. So this is the back wall of the temple, and Krishna used to turn his face to get the darshan of this devotee. We can understand how, if you are doing a wonderful devotional service, the Lord will be eager to see you actually. And this through this hole, he used to the Lord used to turn hole, like turn back to Kanakadas, and through Kanakadas used to see from this hole also. So that's the reason this hole actually is still known to be a Kanaka Khirki, as per the custom is there. So coming back to the story of this Kanakadas. So Kanakadas was this shepherd, and he used to see this god from here. So what happened, one time he had a guru, and like guru doesn't distinguish between whoever their disciples are there. So what happened, Kanakadas guru was knowing this Kanakadas is a very wonderful devotee, but in order to teach all his disciples also, Guru one time what he did, he assembled all his devotees and gave them a task. Why he gave them a task was he wanted to teach a lesson to all his other disciples also, and he wanted to make them actually understand the value of Kanakadas, how wonderful devotee he was there. So what Guru actually did, Guru took one banana and gave to each of his disciple. And after banana was given to each of his disciple, the disciple was very surprised, and he said, Guru, what we'll do with this banana? And then he said, you eat him. So they said, yeah, okay, eat him, but there is one terms and condition is there. He said, all these disciples, what is the terms and condition? Eat in a place where no one is watching you actually. He told his all his disciple. So all his disciples was very happy. And then what happened, everyone went, so somebody went inside the water, and they ate banana, and they thought like nobody is seeing. Somebody went in deep inside the forest, and then they went. Somebody actually went inside their room and closed all their doors and all, and they take a blanket and they covered themselves, and they said nobody is watching me, and then they started eating banana like that actually. Like wherever the place for everything was there, somebody like that went and tried to eat. So what happened, in the evening everyone came, and everyone was very happy, and they were making fun of Kanakadas because in his hand still the banana was still there. And Guru asked everyone, have you ate all your banana? Yes, yes, yes. Then everyone, his disciple, they explained where they went and they ate. So when Guru asked Kanakadas, why didn't you eat this banana? So this wonderful devotee, actually Kanakadas, said he couldn't eat actually because wherever he was going, he said, I couldn't find a single place also actually where God was not watching me. He was always watching me. So that's the reason he's saying he is the Krishna who is present in our body as the knower of the soul, is the Paramatma. So he Kanakadas explained, he is the knower of the body. We can't cheat him actually. So he was perpetually, every time he was watching me. So it's a saying, we can cheat everyone, but we can't cheat Krishna, because Krishna as a Paramatma, he's watching all our activities. That's the reason, if you see, even if you do wrong activities or if you scold somebody also, maybe because of our false ego, because of our ahankara, we won't be going and telling them the sorry, but deep down in our heart we'll be knowing, yes, I have done wrong. So that's what then Kanakadas told, he knows everything. So there is no place that Krishna is not there. And then Guru, then again glorified. You can see such a wonderful devotee is there. And that's why Kanakadas, on his name also, this Kanaka Kirki was there. So that's a wonderful story, which how we can understand the difference between soul, body, and the super soul, which is known as a Paramatma. So Sri Krishna was very pleased with his worship of Kanakadas. So that's why he turned his back in order to see Kanakadas. So that's the glory of, yeah. So this is known as Kanaka Kirki. Uh, let's see what further Lord says. The next question, or the say for one of the question which Arjuna asked, what are the fields of the activities were there? That what is the knowledge or was there? So Krishna is telling here, what are these field of activities are there? So they said this body, which after sometimes it will be getting destroyed. This body is actually made up of, or this body, or which is known as Kshetra. This body, kshetra or field, is made of 24 elements. So Krishna is giving here. So basically, there are 5 gross elements. There are 5 gross elements, which is known as earth, water, fire, air, and ether. So this body is made up of these 5 gross elements. And there are 5 knowledge acquiring senses. We have discussed in the 7th chapter. This were these 5 senses which are there in every human being. That's the reason we say use your common sense. So these are these 5 knowledge acquiring senses: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. And what with these are the knowledge acquiring, through this senses we acquire the knowledges. And what are those? So these are these 5 working senses. With voice, when we are working, these are working. When somebody, when you raise your voice, somebody is able to hear. With legs, we are able to walk. With our hands, we are doing to do other activities. Whereas anus, there is a process, is there different activities with you, and with genitals also we produce. So Krishna tells about this 15 activities, and then Krishna talks about this sense. If you are not able to control your senses, what will happen? The more your desire will be there, it will ask you more greed, greed, and greed. So these are these 5 senses or indriya, this is known as working senses, or known as karma indriya. And this is same subject which is known as indriya, which is talking about this 5 senses is there. So I was yeah, sorry. So I was saying these are the 5 senses are there, which is there, which compromise. So this eyes which we are saying, so whatever we are able to see from the eyes, the forms is there, we are seeing the, or whatever we are saying through eyes, which is known as netra, or the form which is known as the roop, we are able to see from our eyes. And the second one is like sound. Through our ears we are able to hear anything. If the ear is not there, we won't be able to hear anything. If the, with this nose, we are able to smell whatever is cooking there, whatever is good smell, bad smell. And with this tongue, we are able to taste the food, anything, whether it is salt, whether it is salt, sugar. And through the skin, we are able to touch and feel. So this compromise of this 20 elements. So it is saying this working senses and this sense objects, when you combine this 5 plus 5 plus 1, it is known as a mind. It's compromises this 10 plus 1 mind is known as 11, which known as working senses. So these are nothing but the 11 working senses. And then Krishna talks about the subtle body, which will be further discussing also. What are those? So in this subtle body, Krishna tells is nothing but this mind, intelligence, and false ego. So that's comes to 23. And then there are unmanifested stage of this three modes of nature, which Krishna, just a minute, somebody pinged. Yeah, I'll come to that, Prabhu. Somebody pinged. Yeah, what is that? Yeah, I'll come to that, Prabhu, to that question of yours. So at that last, maybe we can take this is there. Where I was, yeah, unmanifested stages of this three stages of mode, which is known as this pradhana, which we'll be seeing in tomorrow in a detail. So these are basically these three modes of material nature. It will be there. Somebody saying something. Okay, yeah. So we'll talk about this subtle body, which Krishna is actually explaining further. And then we'll be seeing how this what is known as a subtle body, because our atma also consists of this or maybe Prabhu, once we are having Garud Pran, I have told, maybe after one class I'll be discussing. So in that Garud Pran also it talks about these 5 subjects. Maybe I'll explain there also one time. Okay, yeah, time is running out. Okay, so then Krishna talks about this previous slides, this subtle body. Uday Kumar Mataji, so I'll explain you maybe sometime. Yeah, so this one, then Krishna further gives this example. See, it's talks about this body. So suppose when we wear a t-shirt, so in outside of the t-shirt we wear a coat, as just an example, a t-shirt or shirt. On top of that we wear a shirt. So like that, this our body, inside our body there is one soul is there. So soul also has an outer covering. What is soul? This is the soul, and outside of the body of the soul is known as a subtle body, and this is the gross body. This gross body is made of 24 elements, or this 5 this, especially if you see this 5 elements are there. This gross body consists of this or gross body, or known as this bhautik sarir. And this subtle body, what happens when the soul leaves this body, this subtle body will carry the soul actually. It's a very small, it's just like a bubble of a soap. When you take a soap and then a fluid, that it's just like that. And this, the soul is this atma. So this actually the soul, which compromises of this mind, intelligence, and this false ego. It's compromises of this subtle body. So when death comes, all our in this subtle body, all of whatever your desires is having, all thing will dissolve in your mind. So we should understand this is not that mind which we are when we are alive. That mind, this mind is something else, and that this mind carries us to this new body. So whatever these desires are there, everything is stored in this body. So this subtle body will take care, and whatever forms of the body will be having. So it's a saying, just how it will go, the subtle body will carry. It's saying, just like the air carries the aroma of a flower. See, flower is somewhere else, or the kitchen is somewhere else, what will happen. But if you are sitting in a place, but the aroma will come. So it's saying, just like the air carries the aroma of a flower from one place to other, this subtle body also carries the soul from one body to another. So this is the reason actually why different people have different desires. Even there are 3 brothers or sisters are there who are born from the same mother or in the same family only. So they have a different kind of tests are there, and based on tomorrow chapter, the 3 modes of material nature will when I have a material people come in contact with them, based on that they develop this one, and based on their own karma and their own impression, which is having this mind, which carries the soul, and this it will be there. This so this is physical mind, and the mind, this is known as the mind of the soul is there. So there are many analogies are also there. Maybe I'll tell you some time other. We'll go to next shloka. And one important thing is there, we should understand this, those who are able to control the mind is the best friend and mind is the best enemy. And this false ego, actually, if you see, Srila Prabhupada says this false ego, what is this false ego? Ahankara. Sometimes what is the main ahankara which people generally have? That I am this body. We doesn't think actually that we are the true spirits or the true soul is there. Let's see what Krishna is saying further. Okay, who wants to read it? 13.19. Okay, I already some devotees have raised. Kirti Mataji, you can go ahead, and Dhamati Mataji, maybe after this shloka you can read.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Iti kshetram tata jnanam jneyam choktam samasataha madbhakta etad vijnaya madbhava yopapadyate. Thus the field of activities, the body, knowledge and the noble have been summarily described by me. Only my devotees can understand this thoroughly and thus attain to my nature.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. So here, further, Krishna is saying, uh, so this field of activities or the body, which is known as, here is saying this field of activities or the karma kshetra, is nothing but this body or the sarir which we are having, or the outer covering of our the soul where we are living. And this knowledge or the gyan, and this is saying is this has been this knowledge in, if we summarize, it describes by me is and is saying, and the novel have been summarized by me. So is Krishna is saying this, whatever we have talked, this four subjects which is there, I have summarized these things. And last, Krishna is saying, my devotees can only understand this through, and thus attain my nature. So Krishna here it is saying, why it is saying, the Lord has described the summary of this four thing: the body, the knowledge, and the noble. So the knowledge is of three things: the knower, the noble, and the process of knowing. So when we combine these three things is known as Vijnana, or the science of knowledge. So perfect knowledge can be only understood by the unalloyed devotees of the Lord directly. Others actually are unable to understand it's a sin. Why Krishna is saying, we'll see in the further shloka also. Okay, yeah, Dhamati Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Bhagavad Gita 13.20. Prakriti and Purusha are beginningless. Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidya Anadi Ubhav Api Vikramsh Cha Gunamsh Chaiva Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan. Material nature and the living entities should be understood to be beginningless. Their transformation and the modes of matter are products of material nature. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji, for reading. So yeah, Krishna is defining about Prakriti and Purusha. So he's saying this Prakriti and we, the Jivas, actually are Anadi. Anadi means that is they don't have any beginning. Those are beginnings. So this material nature in which we are living. So material nature, there are 84 lakhs of species or the living entities are there. If Krishna is saying these are things are beginningless. So we actually entity souls, we are beginningless. Our soul, it's a saying this material nature in which we are living, it's Anadi. And also the living entities, the Purusha is also, the Jivas is also the Anadi. Both are beginningless Anadi. So soul, actually, that's the reason Krishna says the soul in the second chapter is saying and define this characteristics of the soul, that the soul never dies. And that's the reason, Arjuna, you shouldn't be grieving on the soul that okay, if I my family members will be dying. Actually, soul never dies. It just keep on changing from one body to another. Actually, the body dies. And it's saying when this when a question is when actually did I first come, when somebody start like when start to don't know. So they, I say, they are actually, it's a saying they're transformed. So Krishna is answering, there is a transformation goes around. So based on the modes of matter, which is known as based on the modes of karma, whatever you karma you do in that particular body, what happens, and material natures or the desires you acquire, what happens, in which particular nature you are living, what happens is you will keep on transferring from one body to another body. So Prakriti, this Prakriti and Purusha is there. So Prakriti is under the control of Lord Krishna. It's mentioned there, Mayatishini Prakriti. So Prakriti is also beginningless. It manifests for sometimes, like how we manifest, and unmanifest also sometime, and like at the time of annihilation and discretion. So Prakriti will give us a chance by which we actually get different forms of bodies. What are those different kind of bodies? 84 lakh of species. So living interiors are actually superior to of Prakriti. So we, Purusha, is superior to Prakriti. Why? Because we are part and parcel of the Lord. So whatever this Lord, sometimes features will be there. We saw 6 opulences of Lord is there, Bhagwan is there. So sometimes we have a tiny form of that, but that is also not in great. There will be having some time after that it will be. So body is this field, and this embodied individual soul is actually enjoying all these activities. And we, this living entity actually who is known as Purusha, is in this category of this Lord energy. So super soul is another knower of this body in the category of the Lord expansion. So that's how the both living entity and material entity both are eternal. So it's saying these are beginningless. So that's what we should be understanding. There is a difference is there. Material nature has a constant transformation we can see, but nature of living entity is non-changing. The Atma doesn't change actually. It's constant only. It just keeps on changing. So material nature is absorbed in the supreme personality of Godhead, or it goes inside the Mahavishnu, and wherever is required during the annihilation of this Mahatattva, and that living entity we also get absorbed in this Mahavishnu. With this coming of this material nature, and they are giving a chance, this is the just kind of environment to prepare us to go back home, back to Godhead. So that's the reason this living entity, there might be a question might be there. So why this living entity comes down, falls to this material world? So Krishna tells in this Bhagavad Gita also, due to our rebellious nature. uh, so he's saying it really actually doesn't matter how we came in contact with this matter. The Supreme Lord knows how and why. So that's the reason he made a place for us, and that's why we are again taking birth. And because of our desire, we are keep on revolving. Let's see. This is one of the very important shloka of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, Ganga Mataji, please go ahead and read. Mataji, you can unmute yourself if it is possible.
ISKCON. उपद्रास्तानुमन्ता च भारत भोक्ता महेश्वरः परमात्मेति चपि उक्तो देहेऽस्मिन् पुरुषः परः. Yet in this body there is another, a transcendental enjoyer who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor, who exists as the overseer and permitter, and who is known as the super soul. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So here, Krishna is given. I was talking about in few of the slokas. So in this shloka, Krishna is talking about. You can see in a branch there are two birds who are sitting there. So similarly, in a particular body, there are this one bird which is known as the Jiva, and this one other bird which is known as the Krishna or the super soul. This is in this if you take this branch, if it is a body, inside this body or on the branch, soul is there and super soul is also there. So that's what Krishna is saying. In this body there is another one transcendental enjoyer. He's talking about himself, the super soul. He's saying who is the Lord and the supreme proprietor, who exists also, and he is as a overseer and permitter, and who is known as super soul. So this is the second node of the field which Krishna is giving the example is there, which is known as super soul. So how we can understand is that that's the reason Krishna is showing this is a transcendental enjoyer. So who is that? We actually think like we are actually enjoying. No, but actually Krishna enjoys, and he is the Bhokta, Jo Ishwar. That's he is the Ishwar, and he is the supreme proprietor. Krishna is the Param knowing for everything, and we should understand this two sentences is very important. Actually, he is saying who exists as the overseer and permitter. So his overseer means Sakshi. Yesterday we discussed about Sakshi Gopal. So this Krishna is the Sakshi of whatever activities, whatever karmas, whatever desires we are having is the Sakshi of that one. And he is that permitter, he is the sanctioner. So it's a saying in chapter 18, Krishna further says, so until and unless I doesn't sanction, neither a blade of a grass will also move. So Krishna sanctioned everything based on the desires of a person. So Krishna is, and that's the reason sometimes people say, no, work hard, whatever, if you work hard, I will get it. But no, Krishna is saying until unless I doesn't sanction, he or she might not be getting anything, whatever it be there. And he sanctioned based on our karma, based on our efforts, based on our hard work. No, he doesn't gives like that only. Okay, Krishna gave me 2 rupees, I'm giving 2 lakh is there, I'll do like in whatever your duty is there. If you don't work hard, he won't be giving. So he is the sanctioner based on whatever good or whatever bad you do also. So that's the reason he's known as Paramatma. So he's saying, he's seeing everything. This sanctioner and this permitter or the super soul, he's seeing everything, whatever activities we are doing. So that's we heard about Kanakadas story also. So, and this permitter, who's the Krishna, is known as Paramatma or the super soul. So actually what happens, we jivas, if you see this small example also, what this bird is doing. So this bird or we the jivas is simply we are enjoying the fruits of our labor. It says he is very busy in enjoying the fruits which is there in the trees. He's not looking towards the Krishna also. This bird is not looking towards the thing. So, but Paramatma is ready to help us. Is there always in our soul only. Is ready to help us. But this soul, and when he thinks like I am this body, I'm came here. This is my family. This is my house. This is my wealth. Whatever I have got, this is because of my hard work, and he keeps on enjoying. And when suppose this fruits gets over and when he's in distress, when he turns his head towards Krishna, and then Krishna will give you this knowledge. Until unless we don't turn our head, that's what it is. So that's why the Krishna gives you this one also knowledge. And at the end of 18th chapter, he tells to Arjuna also, I have given you this knowledge. Now if you want to fight, then fight. So he doesn't interfere with our free will. That's the reason, based on our fruits or based on our karma, we get our activities. When we turn our head towards Krishna or this our soul towards the super soul, who is Paramatma, who is present within our body. So that's why Srila Prabhupada used to say, this cross Krishna consciousness is there in every jiva, but there it's in a dormant state. We need to arouse those dormant state, and then a jiva will be start doing a bhakti. So it's there in everyone. But due to the material contamination, due to the three modes of material nature, which we'll be seeing tomorrow, is one of the very important nature class, which Krishna talks about the three modes of material nature. And why? Because of the three modes of material nature, we think like I am this body, not this soul. And then we don't turn towards the Krishna. And based on whatever association, whatever you eat, you will be doing those activity. But when we devotee, then we turn towards this Krishna, then his life will be successful. And with the association of the devotees, he will be getting the knowledge, and then he will be able to progress in bhakti. So this is which Krishna have just whatever this Arjuna asked the sixth question, what is this Prakriti, Purusha, Kshetra, Kshetra Jnanam, Jnanam and Jnanam. So this Krishna answers, this Prakriti is nothing but a material nature. And who is Purusha? The enjoyer of this material nature. This Kshetra is this body. And what is Kshetra Jnana? The Kshetra Jnana is the two knowers of this body is there, which is soul and super soul. What is Jnanam? What is the knowledge? Understanding that Kshetra and Jnana. So we understand this, there is three things are there, which is body, soul and super soul. What is Jnanam? The soul and super soul. That is the real knowledge. So let's see what further Krishna says in this chapter, shloka. Okay, Ganga Mataji, you have already read. Ashwani Mataji, you want to read, please go ahead.
Anete ev atim सर्वे तु वयं उपास्ते ते पि क्षत्रिया एव मत्र शूद्र pranaya. Again, there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, being to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about him from others, because of their tendency to hear from authorities. They also transcended the path of birth and death. Thank you, Guru.
Thank you, Mataji,
Thank you
for
so
reading
much.
it out. Yeah. So here, Krishna is, you remember 13.919 shlokas, which Krishna says only with unalloyed devotees or only my devotees can understand this one. Why Krishna was saying in this one? So Krishna is giving this answer here in 13.2 says, he's saying, Shruti Prayayanaha. So what does it mean? So he's saying bhakti is the easiest and best part. Why Krishna is saying? So Krishna further is saying again there are those who although not conversant in spiritual knowledge. So we all see there are many kinds of people are there who don't have a knowledge of this spiritual knowledge also, but they start worshipping, they start their worshipping to Supreme Person. Is saying although they don't have that spiritual knowledge, but what they do, they have started their journey of devotional service by how? By worshipping Supreme Personality of Godhead. Is saying begin, and then because of that spiritual knowledge they start to begin, means they are not there. Why even they don't have this spiritual knowledge, how they do is there, Krishna is further saying they start to begin worshipping the Supreme, is this Param Purushan of me, upon how? Upon hearing about him from others. So Krishna is saying even they don't have taste, even they haven't started their bhakti, but slowly when they have heard one or two line also, they have a faith, then they start worshipping me. Krishna is saying, we have seen this is also mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. This mother of Kapila Dev, she went and started his starting like hearing about Supreme Personality. Or we can see here also how His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj, he is giving the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to all the other souls also. So though we might not be having any taste, though we don't be knowing who Krishna is there, who God is there, who are we, so but it's saying because of their tendency to hear from the authorities like Srila Prabhupada and those them, so Krishna it is saying this is known as tendency to hear from other authorities is known as Shruti Prayahana. So it's a saying, Krishna is saying further, they will transcend to the path of birth and death. So they will slowly come to this devotional service, and is saying they will be able to cross this birth and death. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, they will be able to cross because they are hearing from the superior authorities like Srila Prabhupada and those gurus of ISKCON will be there. So that's the reason he's saying only the devotees will be able to no, because he understand what is the Krishna is them. So bhakti is actually the easiest and the best path to understand this science of God. So all of us are maybe not be expert actually in this spiritual knowledge. If you say I also don't know anything, I'm hearing from the senior devotees, my Guru Maharaj. So Guru Maharaj is giving a daily classes is there. When we hear this knowledge from the Guru, and then only we'll be able to come on that platform, there we'll be able to start our bhakti, where we're able to, even if you don't know anything about us, then they say, but we have a should be having a tendency actually to hear from the expert, to hear from the Guru. And then we should be, very important thing is that Krishna is telling there are 9 types of devotional service which we have seen yesterday. It talks about Shravanam. So Shravanam means you should be a very good listener. When you are a very good listener, and then only Shravanam will take care and move you out towards the path of the bhakti also. So there is a very wonderful story. I guess a lot of devotees might have also heard for the benefit of the other devotees. So there is a story about a cobbler and the Brahmana. So one time, Narad Muni, actually, when he came to this material world, just to say, Narad Muni is like he have the ability to go anywhere and just he just preach the holy name of the Lord, and he just keep on 24 into 7. He just keep on doing the kirtan of the Lord. So Narad Muni, one time when he came, to this material world, and he saw a cobbler. He was doing his particular job, and he saw a brahmana also. And so while he saw them, and then he went to Vaikuntha. And when he went to the Vaikuntha, so that's the beauty of Narad Muni, is that he can travel anywhere and anytime. Narad Muni has a different role to play. It's not how it shows in actually what we say in this TV serials, or how they project of about Narad Muni. It's actually wrong. It's not like that. When you read the scriptures, when you read Srimad Bhagavatam, we'll able to know how wonderful devotee is Narad Muni, and how he is that guru of Srila Vyasa. They have written this entire Srimad Bhagavatam. Whatever stories actually I am telling you is about, everything is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. So coming back to the story, so when Narad Muni came to this material world, and this Brahmana, he met a Brahmana. And Brahmana, because he was a very Pandit, he was a very Vidwan and very knowledgeable in all the Shastra. He didn't paid homage, respect to Narad Muni also. And then he was quoting so much of slokas, and Narad Muni was like straw, means he was very surprised, and very was very impressed with this Brahmana. This Brahmana is how wonderfully quoting all the slokas and shastras, and how wonderfully he is worshipping this Lord Vishnu. And then he met with this cobbler, and when he met with this cobbler also, cobbler actually paid him respect, obeisances, and then he was saying, okay, he's doing his job. So next time again they met, and this both of this cobbler and the Brahmana actually asked one question. Narad Muni, you are this supreme, you do always seva to the Lord Narayana, and you can meet Lord Narayana. I can't meet Narayana. So Narad, they both of them asked, can you just inquire from the God that we are suffering here? This cobbler specifically asked, Lord, I am suffering here a lot. When can I see God? When can I come back to Godhead? And this Brahmana also said, I am not suffering here, but I'm enjoying. But yes, I'm doing all my activities and all. Ask Narayana that when can I come back. So when Narad Muni went, he's saying, Lord Narayana then said, tell the Brahmin that he will return to me only after 100 lifetimes. And while the cobbler can be told that he will just see me at the end of this present life. And as this Narayana said, and this Narad Muni got perplexed and said, how is it possible, Bhagwan, that you are saying like this? How wonderfully this Brahmana is doing all his activities, and this cobbler is not doing any devotional activities also. How you can say he will be able to do? Is just this. So say, you just ask this question. Lord Narayana asked one to Narad Muni, you just ask this question, and then you'll be all your doubts will be clear. But he was very confused with this question. I said whether should I ask or not. But since Lord Narayana have told, there must be a reason there. So what happened again? He went to actually this first Brahmana. Narad Muni said, okay, let me first go to this Brahmana. And then Brahmana asked, Lord, can you tell me when I'll be coming back? The Lord said, no, it will take some time actually to come back. Like not in this lifetime, you won't be able to come. It will take some time. Narad Muni said like that. And this Brahmana started laughing and then say, you even have you met with the Lord Narayana also, or just you're faking around? And then this Brahmana asked, oh Lord, can you tell me what Lord Narayana was doing? Then only I'll be able to say that you have really met with Lord Narayana. So this Narad Muni, he told, actually, I saw that Lord Narayana, needle will be there. Needle. So in the needle, hole will be there. So he told, Lord Narayana actually was not doing anything. He took one elephant, and through the eye of the needle he was pulling this elephant there. And this Brahmana started laughing. He said, is it possible? This eye of the needle is so small, and this elephant is such a big. Is it possible to take this elephant from that and then bring it here? And then the Lord Narad Muni then again went to the cobbler, and then the cobbler again paid obeisances. And then after paying obeisances, he said, he said, did you meet the Lord or not? So he said, yeah, I met the Lord. He didn't said what the Lord said. He said, I met the Lord and the Lord was doing this and that, since the Brahmana said like that. So after meeting that, the same, he said, the Lord was taking the elephant and he was just passing from the eye of the needle. And this Brahmana was listening very quietly, and this Narad Muni said, is it possible, like you're not saying anything? And then he's saying, yeah, yeah, it is fine. So this cobbler said, yeah, the Lord can do anything actually. And then this Narad Muni was actually very perplexed and says, how can you say that the Lord can say anything? Then this cobbler, who was doing his prescribed duties, and whatever money he used to get, he used to actually donate there, and then he used to live in a Krishna consciousness way. So that Brahmana, because of the knowledge which he have heard from the superiors, he said, you know, Narad Muni, you are more knowledgeable, I am less knowledgeable, but still, you have seen a seed in a banyan tree. Actually, there are thousands of seed will be there. So one banyan tree is coming from a particular seed. So similarly, that seed, which when it goes through a big banyan tree, from that big banyan tree, again, thousands of seeds comes, and like that it happens. So a big banyan tree, which can come from a small seed. So how the Lord, who is there, who can't do, means from a single seed, he creates the entire, so much of big trees, it's coming, is like that. So the Lord actually can do anything, because he's the God and he can create anything. So Narad Muni actually started laughing, and he said, he understood, and he said, yes, why the Lord said that this cobbler will be coming at this end of this lifetime, because the cobbler had a faith. Cobbler had that Shraddha. So faith and Shraddha is one of the very important. When we had faith in the scriptures, when we have faith in the sadhu, when we have faith in the guru, when we have faith in the shastras, then only we will be able to progress in the devotional service. And then Lord thanked Cobbler, and he went back to Narayana and then narrated the complete story. So this is the recap of chapter 13. We'll see, and after this, one of the chanting of the holy name will be there. So Arjuna asked this question, and Krishna explains this field and field honor. His question was there. Krishna explains this, the body which is known as the field, and the knower of the body, the field. Seven bodies, non-permanent. There are 24 elements of the field of the activities and the interaction. Then Krishna further explains the object of the knowledge, and this shines of this seven things: Kshetra, Kshetra Jnana, Jnana, and Jnanam is the most fully understood only by the devotees or the monk bhakta. Why it is there? So he's saying whatever good and bad occurs in every human being. So Krishna is saying the supreme Purusha is never entangled like the ordinary Purusha. He is the observer and he is able to see everything. And the bhakti is the easiest and the best part to understand the science of that. So who wants to read this one? Ravi Prabhu, you want to read it? Prabhu, please go ahead.
Yeah. Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.
Jai Vachamya Vakama Ite Udate Bhavato Nama Swarupa Vyavayam Pursa Puravasmate Parama Eva Hananta Karunam Tatrapi Jana Namahe Yastasme Pitah Tarpadra Nivaha Parane Samantade Bhavade Ayasya Dhama Upasaye Supihi Sada Nanda Bude Majite Krishna Namaste, verse 6. O holy name, you are manifested in two forms. The Supreme Person described by the holy name. And second, the sound vibration of the holy name. We know that the second form is even more merciful than the first. Because although a person may commit many offenses to your first form, he will still plunge into an ocean of bliss by serving your second with his voice. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank you,
Prabhu.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna reading. So here,
Prabhuji,
yes, Prabhu.
in the 13th chapter, second shloka, I have small doubt actually. Kshetra Jnana, about that one,
Okay,
as
Prabhu. I like to
Lord,
explain it, Prabhu.
yeah,
Yeah, you
is
complete your question, Prabhu.
the thing is that actually he's telling about soul and super soul. I want to understand what is the main difference between soul and the super soul. Actually, means every person has soul and as well as super soul. Means
Yes, Prabhu.
yeah, the two kinds of souls are available in a particular person, or what is that?
Prabhu, see, so because of the soul, we are alive. So soul is nothing but a consciousness, chetna. So once we say, suppose if I'm alive right now, so even if I'm standing in front of my right you now, and then what happens if my soul, which is present in this body, if it comes out actually, and then even this whole body is in front of me, so then I'm right now talking, I won't be able to talk also. That if the soul comes out, the chetana which is there, it will come out actually. And when it comes out actually, what will happen? I will be as a dead body, and then you'll be saying, we say sometimes, if I die, my parents will be saying, Sumit have gone, he have left this material world, but my body is still there. So what goes away is the soul. Because of the soul, the presence of the soul, the whole body feels alive. So that is the soul. If the soul is not there present in the body, so this body is known as a death. This body doesn't have a value. So inside that soul actually there is a Paramatma who is sitting that inside of the soul also. That
Okay.
is there. Understood?
Yes, yes. Means
And that,
to yeah.
yeah, Prabhu. So that super soul or the Paramatma who's sitting inside there. So just take an example. Three circular is there. So outer covering of the one. Just take here only. This example only, Prabhu. You see this slide here. So suppose this square
Yes,
one
yes,
is our body. Okay. This square one is our body, and
yes,
inside that
yes.
square one, this is the inner circle is there, which is known as the Atma, and the Lord is
Okay,
sitting inside that Atma, Prabhu.
okay.
And he's that's the reason he's the Supreme Lord. As a Paramatma, he's observing all our activities, and he's the sanctioner there. Even if you don't tell anyone, that's the reason he is. We will be able to know what right and what wrong we have done. He observes everything as a Paramatma there.
Okay. To actually to activate the Paramatma, so the continuous devotional services should be continued. What I
So that's what Srila Prabhupada is saying, that one only, that
yes, yes.
this Paramatma who is there, this Jiva is this soul, this the circular one, the soul and Paramatma, both are Anadi, and this nature, particular nature is also Anadi. It's already there. The Krishna consciousness is already there. It's there in the dormant
Okay,
state with everyone. But
okay,
since we are in contact with the material nature and we feel like, okay, this is my family, I am into this religion, I am belong from this country, I have so many responsibilities, and that's the reason, because of our desire, we forget that what is our actually real dharma, what is our real dharma, we forgot. And instead of enjoying here, we get miseries here, Prabhu. Okay,
okay,
I'll take more
okay.
questions, Prabhu, maybe after the session. Let me just complete,
Thank
Prabhu.
you,
Yeah,
thank you. Sorry to disturb in
no,
between actually.
no issues, Prabhu.
Yeah, when it started, I was confused actually. So I was also simultaneously reading that actually chapter 13.
Okay,
So
okay,
that was.
okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for
Yeah, thank
clarification.
you,
That
Prabhu.
was
Okay. So here, yeah, thank you, Prabhu. So here it's Krishna here is talking about chanting of the holy name. So this chanting of the holy name, it's manifest actually in the two forms. So the one of the form is known as the Supreme Person himself, which is describing the holy name. And this other one is the sound vibration of the holy name. So why here it is saying when we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it is more merciful than the first form of the Lord. When we see the deities of the Lord of deities of the Shamsundara form of the Lord of there is there, the second form is more merciful for, because Krishna is telling here in this is Nama Shaktam verse, it is there, it's mentioned there, we as a person, when we see any other person, okay, when we see any person, when we see Krishna also, sometimes we might be committing any offenses to him in a personally, when we saying, okay, the Lord is there in the deity form or anything is there. So in the first form, as a personal form of the Lord, we might be committing any offenses, but is a saying when we chant the holy name of the Lord, there won't be any offenses. As saying he will still actually plunge into an ocean of bliss by just serving you with the second with his voice. When we chant the holy name of the Lord, it's more merciful than the Krishna. So because Krishna and Srimati Radharani personally comes and dance on the tongue. So that's the reason we say everyone to chant the holy name of the Lord. Okay, so this is this talking about the certificate. If somebody already told today is the 13th day, so please continue joining the classes. Whoever is not able to complete the 12 days, please complete 12 days and attend all those quizzes. At the end of the class, we'll be giving you this certificate. And if you don't have a copy of Bhagavad Gita, maybe you can purchase a copy and you can give it to your nears and dear ones, family, friends, and all at the price of 345. You can pay and give it to them. So this is wonderful opportunity to buy Srimad Bhagavatam also. So whatever is stories we have seen, it's coming from Srimad Bhagavatam also. So Srimad Bhagavatam is where Bhagavad Gita ends. Srimad Bhagavatam starts. Actually, it's known as, if you bring Srimad Bhagavatam at your home, it's bringing the Lord himself at his home, because the canto, there are actually 12 cantos and it's made into 18 volumes. So this whole 12 cantos are the self. It's mentioned when Vyasa wrote the first 2 cantos are the lotus feet of the Lord, and then as we progress, it is there the 10th one is the lotus face of the Lord. So like that, it's mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The more we read about Srimad Bhagavatam, we'll be getting more knowledge about the Lord. We'll discuss more about some other days. Okay, if somebody wants Srimad Bhagavatam, maybe you can ping me, and this is our address, ISKCON Seshadripuram, Bangalore. Yeah, question answer maybe. I guess I'm not sure. Uday Prabhu, if you can wait for 5 to 6 minutes more, Prabhu, then maybe whatever questions you was having, we will take together. If it is fine, Uday Prabhu is there or not? Oh my God! Awesome. Okay, today is already 8:23. Okay, maybe so thank you, devotees, for joining for today class. If you can wait, we'll chant one round and then we'll take. Okay, maybe Uday, I'll answer you this question. Says that because he asked one question was there, what does the ether mean? So maybe I can answer it tomorrow. Says that he will be also able. Usually in our body, just to answer you, everyone, is there ether is nothing, but generally in our body also we see there is a space will be there. So in air also lot of spaces will be there. So in that ether also is kind of space only. So in our body, within that empty spaces, or suppose those 2 intestine or wherever the empty spaces will be there, or the hollow portion of the intestine also. So that's where the blood vessels or those things will be there. So that's where the ether will be there, the hollow space of that. Just to give you in one line answer. Maybe I'll repeat again tomorrow once Prabhuji is there. Yeah. I'll share my screen again, and if possible, kindly turn on your cameras and we'll chant one time of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and then okay, can somebody please confirm if they are able to
Sri Krishna
hear
Chaitanya
the audio?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So we can start. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivashati Gaurabha.
Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna